The situation in the Middle East is experiencing a dramatic turning point. Iran's counterattack has now entered what many describe as the decisive phase of the conflict, and Israel could soon face the possibility of widespread strategic bombardment across its territory. During the 34th to 37th waves of the operation, known as True Promise of Iran reportedly launched the largest and most intense round of strikes since the conflict began. The bombardment lasted for nearly 3 continuous hours. According to reports and claims surrounding the operation, this wave of attacks was not just a routine tactical strike, but is being described as a potential strategic turning point in the broader confrontation. Let's begin with a set of numbers that have drawn significant attention. According to statements attributed to Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the missile strike success rate in this phase reportedly exceeded 90%. Official claims suggested an overall hit rate around 90%, with some strategic targets inside Israel allegedly experiencing impact rates as high as 95%. Among the targets mentioned in reports were Israel's Ramat David Air Base, major international airports, large refinery complexes, critical command and communication facilities in areas such as Beit Shemesh, and even regional military installations, where U.S. forces are present in locations like Abu Dhabi and Bahrain. Supporters of this narrative argue that these strikes suggest that Israel's long-promoted multi-layer air defense network, often described as one of the most advanced in the Middle East, has been under heavy pressure. For years, Israel has relied on a combination of systems such as Iron Dome, David's Sling, and Arrow to intercept incoming threats. However, analysts say that the effectiveness of any defense system can be challenged when faced with complex tactics that combine drone swarms, hypersonic speed weapons, and multi-wave saturation attacks. Some observers ask whether Iran's missile technology suddenly achieved a massive breakthrough overnight. Many military analysts believe the answer is more complicated. The reported effectiveness may have less to do with a sudden technological leap and more to do with the challenges any defense network faces when confronted with large volumes of coordinated attacks. Even highly advanced interception systems can struggle when forced to track multiple fast-moving targets simultaneously. Before the conflict intensified, Israeli defense officials frequently highlighted the strength of their layered defense network, suggesting that combined interception rates could reach very high levels under controlled conditions. Yet, in large-scale conflict scenarios, interception success can vary significantly, depending on the number of incoming threats, the speed of missiles, and the complexity of the attack pattern. Some analysts have argued that hypersonic weapons or maneuverable ballistic missiles present particular challenges for missile defense systems around the world, not just in Israel. Another issue often discussed by analysts is the strain placed on defense infrastructure during prolonged conflicts. Missile defense systems rely heavily on radar networks and early warning systems. These radars serve as the eyes of the defense network, detecting incoming threats and guiding interceptor missiles. If radar installations are damaged, overloaded, or forced to operate under electronic interference, the ability to track and intercept incoming missiles can be reduced. Reports circulating during the conflict have also suggested that certain radar systems and defense installations in the region have experienced damage or disruption. In addition, prolonged use of interception systems can place heavy demands on maintenance, logistics, and interceptor missile supplies. Missile interception is also extremely expensive. Each interceptor missile used by systems like Patriot or other long-range defenses can cost millions of dollars. When a large number of interceptors must be fired against waves of incoming drones or missiles, the cost and supply requirements increase rapidly. In contrast, some unmanned aerial vehicles and smaller attack drones can be produced at much lower costs, creating a strategic imbalance that military planners often discuss. Another concern sometimes raised by defense analysts is the rate at which interceptor missiles are consumed compared with the rate at which they can be produced. In prolonged conflicts, if the rate of missile usage exceeds manufacturing capacity, resupply becomes increasingly difficult. This challenge is not unique to one country. It is a common issue faced by many nations that rely heavily on missile defense. Based on these factors, some commentators argue that Israel could face sustained pressure if attacks continue at high intensity. Iran possesses a variety of missile systems that reportedly have ranges extending up to roughly 2,000 kilometers, placing many locations in the region within theoretical reach. Analysts also frequently discuss Iran's development of hypersonic and maneuverable missile technologies, which are designed to complicate interception efforts. Estimates from various intelligence and research institutions have suggested that Iran maintains a large inventory of ballistic and cruise missiles. If accurate, such inventories could allow for prolonged strike operations over an extended period of time. At the same time, military strategies appear to have evolved. Early strikes may have focused on limited retaliatory actions, while later, operations reportedly expanded to include broader categories of targets, such as military bases, infrastructure, and logistical hubs. Some observers have even compared the potential strategic turning point of this conflict to historical moments, such as the Battle of Midway during World War II. In that conflict, Japan initially appeared to dominate the Pacific after the attack on Pearl Harbor. However, the battle at Midway shifted the strategic balance, and the momentum of the war began to change. Analysts drawing this comparison suggest that major conflicts sometimes reach a point where the balance of power begins to shift in unexpected ways. Today, the Middle East remains in a rapidly evolving and highly uncertain situation. Military developments, political decisions, and diplomatic negotiations will all play roles in determining what happens next. Some analysts believe the outcome will depend on continued battlefield developments, while others emphasize the importance of diplomacy and international mediation. The direction of the conflict remains unclear, and events are still unfolding. What do you think about the current situation and the possible outcomes? Share your thoughts and perspectives.